Yeah.
Everyone likes that big movie experience. The fact it used to be very popular before the pandemic.
It really, you know, and there are certain movies you need to see in the theater.
That's my
You have
point.
to.
That's my point. There's a whole experience that happens in a theater that sort of moves you to another place. You know, in your house, you get up, you walk around. Yeah, it's convenient and all that, but going out to a movie is sort of a big deal, and it's an event, and it can become an even bigger event.
I love it. And you know, you're so used to, you know, sitting next to me and talking with me, and I know it's really such a blessing for you. But really, when I think about it, when you get the chance to sit next to movie stars and discuss these movies that they pour their blood, sweat, and tears into sometimes, it's got to be one of the coolest feelings.
Well, sometimes, you know, they do pour their blood, sweat, and tears into these things. Like The Big Chill. Remember The Big Chill? The Big Chill was a movie about a whole bunch of old friends, college friends, getting back together, and the point they got back together was because one of their friends had died, and it was a funeral. And that was The Big Chill. And Kevin Costner was the person who was supposed to be in the casket, the friend they came to see. Oh. And they actually cut him out of the movie in terms of him being a living person before he ended up being the featured guest at the funeral. So it was one of those things they always talked about, and they always kidded about, you know. And then he moves on to the next thing, Silverado. Remember that as a cowboy, Kevin Kline. Kevin Kline was in The Big Chill also, and you know, Untouchables, all these great movies. And then Dances with Wolves came along, you know. And this is a movie that everyone said, oh, it's too long, it's too big. He directed it. He put his own money in it to make sure it happened. And here it ends up. After everyone said that, it won Best Movie and it won Best Director.
And is he trying to do it again?
So now he's got this project that he loves, and it's a 4-part project, so it's going to be 4 movies. The first one has been completed, and when I got a chance to talk to him in Chicago, he just arrived from wrapping the 2nd chapter of this film.
Wow.
So he is into this up to here. You've seen him all over the place talking about it, and he is very serious about it, as you'll see. The movie is Horizon, and it takes us to the old Wild West again in the period around the Civil War, when people were moving west and just gobbling up land for themselves, and people were looking for their next miracle, I guess, in life. It's called Horizon. We talked about it in Chicago.
Okay, I'm so excited for this. Here we go. Where's the popcorn?
In these territories, men will come try you. They will take from you until you are wiped clean from this land. I'm just saying that's something you might want to keep in mind.
You think?
Boy, it's great to see you.
Thank you.
Saw the film last night, the picture last night, and I keep flashing back to the title Horizon, and you couldn't find a better title for something, because even though this is a story of the past, it's really a story of the future, isn't it? All these different people's future.
Yeah, it's a journey movie. You know, I love plot movies where you got to take the bank down, you got to get the gang back together, but I like sometimes where a movie, I'm just not sure where it's going, and it starts to take me to places. I think that's the great joy of cinema, when the lights go out. It's why I went to movies, you know, I wish somebody would have made this movie for me, you know, and there's 2 of them coming out this summer, one on the 28th and one on the 16th of August. So that's really never been done before, and there's 2 more after that. So it's an investment in what America was. It was a journey. And it wasn't easy. And the people that were making it were going for different reasons, but all with the idea that there was a promise, a hope, that if they were tough enough, if they could last it, all that they saw could be theirs.
It's really interesting because you tell a story oftentimes, or people tell stories, and it's from one person's point of view. But we get to write in many people's stories. It's a lot of stories.
Yeah, that was important to me, because otherwise you couldn't create a saga. In my mind, you really need to see, because that's how life works anyway. We see these different people, and somewhere down the line, if we follow our own instincts, our own passions, we end up linking with people that we never would have linked with before.
I love the scene. I just saw a scene a second ago, you confronting somebody, kicking them in the chest and knocking them back. You know, so you're directing this, you've written this. What's it like to step out of those characters into your own character and have to pull something off like that?
Sometimes I'm directing when I'm in costume, so it feels a little bit like Halloween to me.
Yeah.
And I don't like that. But it is, I feel like I got this great job. I had this great opportunity. I can bring movies to people, so what am I gonna bring them? And I wanna bring them something where mothers wanna bring their daughters, and men wanna bring their sons. And while it's a violent movie, it's why we watch it together and we go, you know, I get a feeling that that's a lot how it happened.
You know what's amazing to me too? To direct your son, to have your son, to interact with your son there, is that an emotional moment?
It was. I love being around him, and I love to see my children succeed. I love seeing Hayes, in this instance, the namesake of the movie. I named him, 15 years ago. So I knew I had to make this movie, but to watch him succeed, and it'll be really interesting for him when the movie comes out, how his friends deal with him.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too because it tells a story from all viewpoints. You get all these different perspectives. You take so
Yeah.
much time to tell all these stories that
Yeah.
you begin to understand them and feel them better.
I think that we hit a lot of things, and as we go into 2 this summer, after this, you'll see this all connect. This is just the beginning, and it's coming right at you, and it's fresh. And if you see 1, you see 2, and you'll see all this stuff start to connect.
You coming back to Brothers Lounge and playing some of your music?
I love playing, and that was always big fun for me.
Yeah, it's always great to see you too. Thank you very much.
You be careful. Someone's gonna take that gun and wrap you with it.
What? We talked enough.
He still got it.
I guess
he
that guy
still got it.
I guess the guy got the point, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, when he blows up, and he's so calm and reserved, when you talk about it. And his characters are like that too. His character draws you in a little bit. You almost become part of that personality. This one opens. You can see it today, now, Horizon, and then the other one opens. I think on the 28th of July, or in a few weeks. We'll let you know about that.
So with award season, would they have to judge him on 2 different? It's not like you could basically have both of them
Yeah.
combine. It'd have to be 2 different things. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. He's
He
amazing.
has 7 kids. How about that?
7 kids.
Yeah.
I was hearing he got heat for putting his son in the movie versus actors who would give anything to that role. I'm sorry. The
Yeah.
man footed the bill for this entire thing. It's his creation. If he wants to put his son in the movie, let him put his son in the movie.
If you said that, I mean, go like, no heat. It's like he just, he has a short attention span for people who are negative.
Good for him.
Which I think is great. And,
Good for him.
And I tell you, he's got a lot of friends here in Cleveland. He said hello to all his friends in Cleveland.
Oh,
I'm sure he
that's
does all the time. A
wonderful.
lot of friends in Cleveland. And when he played at Brothers Lounge, it was like a big party for all of them too. So, he was here for draft day. Remember that?
Yes, it was another great movie.
I tell you, I love this guy. He's a man's man for sure. And
But the ladies love him.
yeah, he's got that romantic side working for him too.
My mom, that was one of her favorites of all time.
Guy's got 7 kids.
The ladies love him.
Check it out. It's in theaters now. I tell you, it's
gonna be
It's a
good.
ride. It's a great ride, though. It's a lot
Gonna
of
be
fun.
good. He might have another Oscar coming his way for Best Picture. You never know.
We'll see.